Welcome back. In today's Great Grammar for a Great You, we are going to continue with our study on degrees of comparison. Yes, in the previous session, we discussed how to make the comparative and the superlative form of adjectives which are in their positive form. So it was something like you have a word big in the positive form, the comparative becomes bigger and the superlative becomes biggest. Then let's pick up another word, expensive. Expensive, made up of 3 syllables. You make its comparative by writing the word more before it. So it becomes more expensive, and then the superlative becomes most expensive. We went through all the rules how to make these comparative and superlative forms. In case you want to revise them up, you can watch the previous session. I'll wait for you here. Okay. Now to continue with what we are going to study in today's session, we are going to talk about a few irregular adjectives. I call them irregular because they have an entirely different form of comparative and superlative. The word little, late, much and many. The comparative of little is less, and the superlative of the word is least. Don't think I have less trouble. It's a comparison. You seem to have the least trouble, the superlative. The word late. He is late. Yes, the word late is an adjective. What would be the comparative of it? I actually have 2 comparatives of this word. Later, L-A-T-E-R, just adding the R, just like what we have learned. The other one is double up this T and you pronounce it as latter. Right? Let's look at the superlative. If the comparative is later, the superlative will be latest. And if the comparative is latter, the superlative would be last. There is a difference in the usage of these words. Also, we are going to go to that after we finish this chart. The adjective much, the comparative would be more, and here it will be most. Many, again it's going to be more and it's going to be most. And how does much and many differ? How do they differ? Much is an adjective of quantity and many is an adjective of number. There are again 2 adjectives which are irregular adjectives, and almost all of us know about that. Good. Better. Yes, I can hear you all speak the right thing. Best. The superlative form. Worse. Should it come here? It should not. Worse is not a positive adjective. It is a comparative adjective and its superlative is worst. So what is the positive form of it? It is the opposite of good, and that is bad. So again, these 2 adjectives would also be classified as your irregular adjectives. I'm now going to speak a little bit about the different meaning that we convey by using some of these comparative and superlative forms. So let's begin with that word later, which you saw sometime back on the board. Later and latest, right? And on this side, I'll write the word latter and last. How do they differ? Later and latest talk about time. Latter and last talk about position or sequence. I had a party at 7 o'clock. I expected her to reach by 8 o'clock. She reached at 9 o'clock. She is later than I expected. Can you see the usage? She is later than I expected. Connect it with the example I just gave. I expected her to be late, of course, but I thought she would make it by 8 o'clock, but she lands at 9 o'clock. Talking about time, comparing it with what I had expected. Let's look at this one. Did you hear the latest news? The question mark, I underline the word latest. Again, what I want to convey over here is the latest news means the most recent news. Let's go to this particular words now. Latter and last. How do I use it? Let me begin with the sentence. The latter chapters are boring. Probably I'm reading a book. The first few chapters were interesting. The latter chapters, I'm talking about the chapters which in the sequence come afterward. Maybe I continue the same sentence, but the last chapter, what should we write? Is amazing. You saw the use of the words latter and last. It has got nothing to do with time, but it has got everything to do with sequence. In the same way, we do have a little difference in the use and the meaning of the words, such as elder and older. Let's take that. Elder, comparative. Eldest, superlative. Older, comparative, and oldest, superlative. The words elder and eldest are restricted to the use of human beings, people. In fact, nowadays we confine it only to the family. Another thing, we don't use than after elder. We say elder too. So we follow the word elder with the letter 2. The other words, older and oldest, we use it for comparing the age in people and also for things. This is not restricted to a family. I can also use the word something like this is an older version of the movie you're watching or of the movie you have been watching. For this words older, the comparative form, you can use than as well as to. The regular comparative word which we put after the form, or we can use the word to. He's older to me by 5 years. He's older than me. Both are accepted. But in the case of elder, you have to be with the word to. Let's take one more such pair, which spells almost the same, but they convey a different meaning. So let's talk about the word farther. It conveys, as the word far is out here, distance. Should I spell it F-U-R-T-H-E-R, further? Will it also convey distance? Yes, it would. But in addition to distance, it also conveys the meaning in addition, what I just spoke. Additionally, or additional, let's write additionally. So there are two usage of the words further. What is the further progress? What is the additional progress? Now we have a few Latin origin words. I'll write them over here. Interior, exterior, major, minor, ulterior. I don't think I would need this, so we'll get rid of this part. I'll write a few more words. Let's go over here. anterior, posterior, superior, common words, aren't they? Inferior, prior. Okay, let's just stop at these ones. Now, if you look at these words, interior, exterior, major, minor, ulterior, probably because of that R at the end, it may appear that it is in a comparative form. It's not. It is just used in a positive sense. For example, the interior walls are made of wood, but the exterior is made of brick. He is a major, she has a minor injury. It's just an adjective which is used in the positive form. I don't think she has any ulterior motives behind this. But look at this set which you have over here. Anterior, posterior, superior, inferior, prior. These words, they are all used in the comparative form. But they don't have a than after it. The word which follows them is to, to. So let's give examples. She's superior to me. Prior to coming here, we met her. You noticed it? All used in a comparative sense, but you don't have the than, you have a to it. So this was all about degrees of comparison, the basic rules of forming the words. The reason why I took this list out over here were because they were from the Latin origin and they did have some kind of things to be remembered. What we will do now is a quick review. I'll put up a few sentences on the board and we're just going to choose whether we should use the word later or latter, whether we should use the word elder or older. So let's write them down. Okay, let's see how we do these sentences. Oh, I've already put up the answer for you in the first one. He is going to do it later. That's the first one. Second one, it rained twice this week. The dash rain flooded the streets. Which word would go out here? It's not going to be later again. It's going to be the latter rain, the second rain. It rained twice. We're talking about the second rain. The second rain flooded the streets. The third sentence. The dash news from China was disturbing. The latest. So here we go with the superlative form without any spelling error. The latest news from China was disturbing. I can't walk any. Now this is a good one. The best option would be I can't walk any farther. I've walked till here, I've stopped, I still have to cover up 1 kilometer more and I say I can't walk any farther. Is that correct? Yes. Can I use a further also over here? In a way, yes. I can say the sentence as I can't walk any further because we just studied both the words farther and further talk about distance. I choose to write farther over here. The last one. No dash reasons were given. Only one of it would come in this blank. No further reasons were given. I can't use that farther over here because we're not talking about distance anymore. We use the word further which talks about additional. No additional reasons were given. I hope you found this session informative. Do subscribe to this channel. Click the bell icon for further notifications. See you soon. Thank you for watching.